Good afternoon, students. How are you all? Hope you all are fine and safe. Now, we are going to learn a new chapter in physics, that is chapter 12, friction. Okay? Then, in this chapter, the topics to be covered are what is friction, then factors affecting friction, then types of friction. Friction is a necessary evil, increasing and decreasing friction, and the last, fluid friction. These are the topics to be covered in this chapter. Then, the first question that will come to your mind is what is friction? Because the whole chapter is entire about friction. While we were learning our previous chapter, by talking about different types of forces like contact and non-contact forces, I said about frictional force as an example for which force? Can you say frictional force is an example for contact force, isn't it? Do you remember this? Okay. Then, what is frictional force? Can you say? Yes, frictional force is an opposing force. Frictional force is an opposing force. And the frictional force is always in the direction opposite to the direction of motion of the object. Isn't it? Yes. Then, if an object is moving in one direction, there is always a force who wants that the object should not move. And this force is called force of friction. Then, let us do an activity to understand more about force of friction.
Here, a book is lying on the table. Now, I am going to apply a force on this book. Now, apply a force on it. What do we notice? The book come to rest after moving some distance. Isn't it? Yes. Then, now, I apply force from the opposite direction. Again, the book moves some distance and comes to rest after moving the some distance. Do you know why in the two cases the book stops after moving some distance? Yes, because there exists a force which opposes motion of this book. That is, there exists a force which opposes the motion. This opposing force is known as force of friction. Okay? In the first case, I applied a force in this direction and the book covers some distance like this. Then moves to some distance and comes to rest because some force is acted in this direction. That is the direction opposite to the direction of motion of this object. In the second case, I applied a force from this direction. That is the direction of applied force is in this direction. Here a force exists in the direction opposite to the direction of motion of this object. And that force exists in the direction opposite to the direction of motion of an object is called as force of friction.
From this activity, we can now define force of friction. It is an opposing force that comes into action when one body actually moves or tries to move on the surface of another body. And the direction of frictional force is always in the direction opposite to the direction of motion of the object or direction opposite to the applied force.
Let us see some important points about friction. First, the frictional force opposes the relative motion between two surfaces. Relative motion between two surfaces or two objects. It acts in the direction opposite to the direction of motion of the object. And also, the frictional force tend to prevent a stationary object from moving. And the last, it's a contact force.
Then this frictional force depends on certain factors. So let us do some activities to understand the factors affecting friction.
Make an inclined plane or a smooth floor on a table. You may use a wooden board supported by bricks or book as like this figure. Then put a mark with a pen at any point A on the inclined plane. Here the point A is marked here. Then now allow a pencil cell to move down and note the distance moved by the pencil. Here the pencil moves this distance. Then the next time spread a piece of cloth over the table. Spread a piece of cloth in the table like this. Here we spread a orange cloth on the table. Then and make sure that there are no wrinkles in the cloth and repeat the activity again. And note the distance moved by the pencil in this situation. Here the distance moved by the pencil is this much. So what is the difference in these two cases? In which case the pencil move more distance? In the first case, that is in the case A or in the case B? Here the pencil covers more distance in the first case because that surface was very smooth and so the friction was very less in that surface. That is, the friction depends on the state of roughness or smoothness of two surfaces in contact. In the first case, the surface was very smooth, so the friction offered by that surface is less as compared to the second one. Because in the second one, the surface was rough as compared to the first, so the friction offered by the surface 2 is more than the surface 1. So the pencil covers less distance in the case 2. That is, the friction depends on the state of roughness or smoothness of the two surfaces in contact. And the friction will be less for smooth surface and the friction will be more for rough surface.
Do you know why it is easier to pull a heavy load on a tile floor than to pull the same load on a carpet? It is due to the reason that the carpet has a rough surface and it offers high friction, while compared to the tile floor, and the tile has a smooth surface and also it offers very less friction. So it is easier to pull the heavy load on a tile floor than to pull the same in a carpet. That is, the frictional force depends on the nature of the surfaces. That is the roughness or smoothness of the surfaces. The frictional force depends on the roughness or smoothness of the surfaces, commonly called nature of the surface. And also, the frictional force depends on the weight of the object. The frictional force depends on the weight of the object. And if the weight of the object is greater, the frictional force also will be greater. Okay? These are the two factors depending on the frictional force. Then look, what is the cause of friction? Okay? Mainly, the friction are caused by the irregularities of the two surfaces in contact with each other. In some surfaces look like very smooth enough, even though they also have large number of irregularities, like this. And when two surfaces come contact with each other, the irregularities lock into one another. And this is known as friction. This is the main cause of friction. Thereby, this interlocking, the force opposes the relative motion of the object in the forward direction. Mainly, the friction is due to the Friction is due to the irregularities of the two surfaces in contact with each other. Even though some surfaces look like very smooth, they may have large number of irregularities. And when the object come into contact with each other, the irregularities lock into one another, thereby it resists the relative motion of the object.
Thus, till now, we have learned friction depends on the roughness between two surfaces in contact. That is, the irregularities of the surface. Then, when we attempt to move one surface over another, we have to overcome the interlocking. And there are large number of irregularities over rough surfaces, so the force of friction is also large. And the friction also depends on how hard the two surfaces are pressed together. If the weight of a body is more, the interlocking are pressed harder. Thus, large force is required to break the interlocking. Hence, force of friction is also depends on the weight of the body.
Mainly, there are two types of friction. They are static friction and kinetic friction. And this kinetic friction is further divided into two types. They are sliding friction and rolling friction.
Looks, what is static friction? The opposing force that comes into action when one body tends to move over the surface of another body, but the actual motion has yet not started, is known as static friction. That means a body is trying to move on the surface of another body. It's trying to move, but the actual movement yet not started. At this time also, there is a frictional force present, and this frictional force is known as static friction. That is, the opposing force that comes into action when one body tends to move over the surface of another, but the actual motion has yet not started, and this friction is known as static friction. Then, in this picture shown, a woman is pushing the block. Okay? A woman is pushing the block. She exerts an action force on the block towards the right. Towards the right. She exerts an action force on the block towards the right. The block exerts an equal and opposite reaction force towards her. This block applies a reaction force in this direction. She applies a force towards the box, but the box applies a reaction force towards her body. In the absence of friction, the woman would have slided back, but due to the reaction acting on her, but the static friction prevents her from sliding. In the picture shown, a woman is pushing the block. She exerts an action force on the block towards right, but the block exerts an equal and opposite reaction force. In the absence of friction, the woman would have slided back due to the reaction acting on her. But in the presence of static friction, the static friction prevents her from sliding. Then, static friction is self-adjusting. If we increase the applied force, the frictional force also increases, and the body continues to remain at rest. That means if we increases the applied force, if we increasing the magnitude of applied force, the frictional force also increases. And by increasing the frictional force, the object continues to remain at rest because the frictional force opposes the motion of the object. But as we further increase the applied force, the force of static friction also increases till it attains a maximum value called limiting friction. That means if we further increase the applied force, the force of static friction also increases and it attains to a maximum value. And that maximum value of static friction is called limiting friction. That means if an object is at rest and we are applying a force on the object to make it move, but the object should not start movement. In that time, that type of friction present in that object is static friction because the object does not start moving. Now the object is at stationary. We are applying a force to make it move. At that time, the friction present on that body is static friction. And the maximum value of that static friction is called as limiting friction. Okay? And when the applied force become greater than the limiting friction, that is, when the applied force becomes greater than the maximum value of static friction, the body begins to move. If we increase the applied force, the frictional force also increases and the body continues to remain at rest due to the increased frictional force. That is, in that case, the frictional force is greater. As we further increase the applied force, the force of static friction also increase and that maximum value of static friction is called as limiting friction. If we overcome the limiting friction, if we apply a force more than the limiting friction, the object start moving. That's about static friction. Then the second one is kinetic friction. If we know that when the applied force is greater than the limiting friction, the body starts move. When the object is in motion, the force of friction that comes into play is called kinetic friction. That is, if an object is moving on a surface, in that time, there exists a frictional force which is called kinetic friction. That is, if an object is in motion, the force of friction that comes into play is called kinetic friction. Then what is static friction? In the static friction, the object is not moving. It tries to move, but it is stationary. And that time we called it as which friction? Static friction. And if an object is moving, the object is in motion, the friction that comes there are kinetic friction. Okay? Once the block starts sliding, the interlocking gets torn and the frictional force between two surfaces decreases. That is, if first we overcome static friction and the body start moving, then the frictional force between two surfaces decreases. That is, in the case of kinetic friction is always less than static friction. Then here, do you know why it is easier to move the box which is already in motion? That is, it is easy to move the box which is already in motion. Do you know the reason? It is easy to move the box when it is already in motion because the irregularities on the box do not get enough time to lock into the irregularities on the floor. That is, it is easy to move the box when it is already in motion because the irregularities on the box do not get enough time to lock into the irregularities on the floor. Okay?
Okay, in this class, we covered the topics what is friction and factors affecting friction, cause of friction and different types of friction. Okay, I hope you have got some idea about these things. Then don't forget to read your textbook thoroughly. Okay, students. Then if you have any doubt, you can contact me. And many of you didn't submitted the completed notes. So the remaining students should send the notes today itself. Then thank you. Have a nice day.